About 70% of the Earth is covered by the ocean.
Of the 5 oceans, the Pacific is the biggest and the deepest. The Pacific alone covers about 30% of the Earth's surface.
The longest mountain range in the world is found underwater.
You could turn Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain, upside down and put it in the deepest ocean trench with plenty of space left over.
Even though 70% of the Earth is covered by water, only 2.5% of that water is fresh water, and only about 1% is drinkable.
And did you know that the water we drink today has been around in some form or another since dinosaurs were on the Earth?
So let's dive in and explore the ocean! The epipelagic zone, or sunlight zone, is shallow water where sunlight can reach and green plants grow. You will find coral reefs in this zone. A coral reef is made up of millions of tiny animals called coral polyps.
The polyps build on top of each other, and when they die, their skeletons are left behind to form the reef.
Millions of brightly colored fish and sea creatures live in the coral reefs. The reefs are full of sea life like clownfish, starfish, octopuses, jellyfish, sea anemones, and many others.
Coral reefs only cover 1% of the ocean, but 25% of the sea creatures live there. Food is plentiful, and the water is warm.
At 200 meters deep, you reach the mesopelagic zone, also called the twilight zone. The deeper you go, the less sunlight can reach. The colder the water gets, and the stronger the pressure gets.
In the mesopelagic zone, you will find sea creatures such as squid, cuttlefish, eels, and swordfish.
At 443 meters deep, you have reached the height of the Empire State Building underwater. At 500 meters, you are at the maximum dive depth of blue whales.
At this point, the pressure is so intense that many sea creatures cannot go to sleep simply because their bodies cannot withstand the pressure.
Deeper down, between 700 and 1,000 meters, is the bathypelagic zone. There is no light at all at this point.
The water pressure here is the same as on Venus. People could not survive except for submarines. Animals in this zone include a giant squid, whales, large octopus, sharks, and many species of fish.
Leatherback sea turtles can dive down to an impressive 1,280 meters, but they often come up from more shallow water to eat jellyfish and come ashore to lay their eggs.
When you reach 2,000 meters, you are in the mesopelagic zone, or the abyss.
Here you can find black dragonfish that you can only see with a flashlight, and bioluminescent creatures that make their own light.
Giant whales and colossal squid also live here, and often battle each other, as evidenced by the battle scars found on their bodies.
At 4,000 meters, you find fang-toothed anglerfish and viperfish.
Only 5% of the ocean floor has been explored. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor. This tells us that there is a lot more to explore and discover in the ocean.
The deepest trenches make up the Hadal Zone. The pressure in the Hadal Zone is equal to a person lifting 50 jumbo jets. The animals that live here do not have bones because the water pressure would crush them.
Thanks to a submarine called Alvin, scientists have been able to study creatures at 6,500 meters deep.
The deepest point reached by humans in a submarine was 10,960 meters. It took them 5 hours to descend, but they could only stay for 20 minutes before a window cracked from the pressure and they had to go back up.
Right now, the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench is the deepest discovered part of the ocean, but who knows what will be discovered in the future.
As amazing as the ocean is, humans have not done a very good job taking care of it.
In May 2010, BP Oil was responsible for the worst oil spill disaster in American history. They were drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico when the Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded and sank. More than 200 million gallons of oil leaked into the Gulf of Mexico for 87 days. BP's engineers scrambled to stop the spewing oil and come up with solutions to the problem. They tried a variety of solutions, all of which failed.
Finally, they designed a cap that could contain the oil and stop the leak. Unfortunately, many sea creatures from fish to seagulls were killed, injured, or sick from the oil. Thousands of volunteers from all over the nation came to help clean up the mess and help the sea life. Today, in 2018, scientists are still seeing some effects from animal species harmed by the oil.
A second issue facing our oceans is shark finning. Approximately 100 million sharks are killed for their fins every year. Shark fin soup is especially popular in Asian countries. Fishermen cut off the fins of live sharks and toss the rest of their bodies back into the ocean. The sharks cannot swim without their top fin and they soon die.
Shark finning is not illegal and is a multi-billion-dollar industry. In the past 15 years, shark species have decreased by 60 to 90%. Scientists believe that if shark finning continues at this rate, sharks could go extinct in the next 10 years.
Removing the apex predator from our ocean causes the entire food chain to be out of order. People need to be educated about the damaging effects of shark finning to our world's oceans. Laws need to be made and passed to protect our sharks and maintain the balance of our ocean.
A third issue being faced by our oceans today is the plastic pollution problem. Did you know that 8.8 million tons of plastic trash end up in the ocean each year? Plastic trash left on the ground or spilling out of trash cans often blows into rivers or streams that eventually lead into the ocean.
It is common to find marine animals who are tangled up in trash or eating the trash as they swim. 52% of sea turtles have trash on their stomachs, and 10% of all dead sea animals found in recent beach cleanups were tangled in plastic bags.
The Pacific garbage patch was twice the size of Texas and floating in the Pacific Ocean. Scientists had estimated that the Pacific garbage patch will double in size in the next 10 years.
There is some good news. Scientists and engineers are coming up with new ways to help our oceans.
Groups like Ocean Cleanup and 4Ocean have pulled over 2.5 million pounds of trash out of the ocean this year.
In our lifetime, what new inventions or procedures could be created to solve this ocean crisis?
Here's some of our ideas.
Our problem is oil spills.
Our solution was to try to contain the oil, because oil floats on the surface, right? So we have buoys, or like a wall of kind of like how they clean up plastic. And it's surrounding the boat, brought in by other boats, so that to try to contain it, so that if the pipe does explode, then it's contained, and it's a lot easier to clean up. Instead of hundreds of miles, it's just a small square, and then you can skim it up and put it in containers and do whatever with it, dispose of it.
Our problem is plastic and trash in the ocean.
Our solution is to make several giant factories worldwide to suck up the trash.
We could also get expert scuba divers to swim around picking up the pollution.
Here's a solution to shark finning. Okay, so kids or adults from all over the country can join together to write a petition that's going against shark finning. And then they could send it to the president if it has enough votes, signatures. And then if the president approves it, then the shark finning would change. People can tag sharks to make sure that they are not being, by their fins, to make sure that they are not being illegally finned. People can also use submarines to hatch a breeding program for the sharks. They can check where they breed best and then get some shark eggs, and then they could breed those in a research facility protected by nuclear bombs so that nobody unauthorized could get in. And then once those sharks hatch and the laws have been passed, they could release them into the wild. And then the shark killers.
Thanks for joining us under the sea.